Welcome to the MaxBet podcast, a podcast dedicated to everything gaming. I'm Landon Jones, here with Mike McKiskey. Let's get started. Hey everybody, welcome back to your favorite podcast. Here with Mike and Landon, we're live!
Hey, that's fun. Yeah,
I like that intro.
It's good. They dreamily stare into the camera.
Yeah.
Gets people going.
Give the
Makes
people
them
what
think
they
you're
want.
right there with it. I always love when you
provocative.
break the wall and you just go, hey guys, here we are. We're in studio. That's what we're doing today. We're talking about some fun stuff.
Because why wouldn't we?
Because why wouldn't we? Get the Sausage King.
And if you're on
Coming
your
in.
way into work today and you're listening to us in your morning drive, we hope you have a fantastic day.
Yeah,
How's that?
it's fantastic.
Oh, cool.
And if you're already at work, well, we're sorry about
And you're
that.
not working? More power to you.
But thanks for tuning us in. Hopefully we can make the time go a little easier for you.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, man, that's so funny.
What's new, brother?
Dude, there is so much going on in the biz. It
So
is
much going on.
wild. Yeah, it is wild.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man. Well, fun time at the Eilers Awards. So that's always a good time.
Yeah.
We put on their, what is it, fifth annual award show.
Yeah.
We got to go
Just jamming out on the red carpet.
antics, right?
Yeah.
So that's always a fun time. I love anyone that gives us a license to be goofy.
Yeah.
Like, that's just fun, right? Because you go
Dangerous.
potentially brand ruining.
Freaking dangerous.
But we have a good time. We try to keep it.
Keep it classy.
It's like dancing Rick. Keep it safe, keep it sexy.
Good old Dancing Rick.
You remember that movie?
No, I don't,
You
but
know
I
any of
want
the
to
movie
meet
quotes,
Dancing
yeah.
Rick.
Keep it safe, keep it sexy. That's the only rules he has.
Tell me something good.
Tell me something good.
I love putting you on the spot. For
I
this.
know. Yeah, I
You
should
get
just
nervous
know
as
coming
hell.
in. Something good. I don't know. Yeah, I know. Crickets. You always do this. That's a cool story. I don't know. A lot of cool stuff, man.
Yeah.
So this week, I'm excited to know what it is, but
Yeah.
Side Games is rebranding their whole company.
Yeah.
So that's like coming out.
Can we talk about it?
I don't know. That's the story. Like, I wish I could. I don't know more. Like, we will be getting an interview probably next week, for next week's episode, talking more about it with probably Matt, one of their key executives, obviously Group CEO.
I know who he is. Yeah, yeah.
You heard of him,
Yeah,
Mr.
yeah.
Wilson? Mr. Wilson.
He's a classy guy. I like that guy.
He's a stud.
Yeah.
And so, and he's Australian. So let's like our second nation here. Anyway, so that'll be cool. Like, I'll be interested to hear what they come up with, right?
Yeah.
Because obviously, I mean, a company like that, multi-billion-dollar company, rebrand, it's not like four guys in a room and just go, what are we going to call ourselves?
Like us?
They don't do what we do where they're just searching GoDaddy for available domains going, that could be us.
Bro, that's the best way to find a name.
It's pretty critical that you do it
Yeah.
because you have to know.
Saves you a
Like,
ton of cash
I
and
guess that's a
problems
question we
over
should
there.
ask. It'd be like, how many domains do you own that you didn't use?
Yeah.
Because you would imagine that, like, like when we were doing ours and how many different names we came up with, like, well, I'll just buy the domain anyway. So now we log into GoDaddy. It's like we have 400 unused, throwaway ideas. So I wonder what theirs is. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Like, I know, I'm sure they've engaged a lot of people to tell them what their thoughts are on good or bad or how to do it. And so it'll be very interesting to see.
This will be fun.
What will be fun?
What do you think their name is going to be?
Oh man. Great. Yeah, I don't know. I think it'll be, here's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping it's not an acronym, right? It's
Okay.
like SG or no offense to the AGS or the IGT, but we have enough.
I think
of
it's going to be
those.
like
We
super verby.
I think it'll be, so you know how every is spelled with an I?
Yeah.
Like it's a word,
Fun play
but
on
it's
words.
like a spelling that's patentable. I'm hoping it'll be something like that.
So it won't be an acronym. It'll be a
I hope it's not
super
an acronym.
fun play on words.
That's my goal. Yeah. For them, my goal, but like, that's what I would hope for them. So it's some word that, just resonates. They're mostly gaming company, right? So like, I think part of this involves them selling the lottery stuff and like,
Guess one name. I'll give you one.
We'll go.
I'm going to wait for you.
So you have one ready.
I do.
But you're going to wait for me to say mine.
Yeah, because that was one that I wanted to call our online.
Okay. Give you one fun word. That
I would name it Gam Gamble.
Gam Gamble.
Yeah. GG.
That's an acronym. Gam Gamble.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, that could be interesting. Gamble. You know what? So I don't know.
GG.
This makes no sense at all. But when you tell me to like, what are they going to do?
Yeah.
The only thing that comes to my mind is an image of the cartoon character Tweety Bird. And it makes no sense whatsoever. Has no, they don't have the Tweety Bird game. They don't have the Looney Tunes
Do you
game.
think the Tweety Bird eats the blueberry?
Maybe you think, there you go. Is that how you do it? There's a little fun fact for you. I don't know. Yeah. So I don't know. But I'm wondering, like, I'm interested because you got to come up with new potential logos and color schemes and all this stuff. So we should know.
So you got nothing.
Well, I got nothing.
So
seems
Tweety
like
Bird. So Tweety is the name of it, and I got Cam Gamble. Okay, we're failing. Don't ever let us name your company, or maybe do.
Well, it just takes more than 5 seconds, I think, is what we're proving, right?
Yeah.
So if you just sit here winging it, you go, well, that's an idiotic thing to say.
Yeah.
I don't know.
GG. I thought Cam Gamble could
with
work.
A game, something with slots or games.
See, I did that.
Yeah, but Gamble, what the hell is Gam? Gam is like legs, right? Like, didn't you, like, if you were like back in the old school?
I don't know, but the .com's still not taken. What's up, .com? Go, daddy. I bet it gets taken after this. We want to bet?
Blake Bortles.
I bet someone buys it. I'm going to go buy it.
Yeah. I don't know. Games or fun or Happy Funland. Maybe there'll be Happy Funland.
There'll be something games.
Yeah, I would assume so. This is what I'm
Could be buy games. Sounds like side games.
Just telling you what we want you to do. Just buy games.
Fun stuff. We have, excuse me, clear my throat. We have a fun interview today.
Sausage King.
Sausage King is in the house.
Tiger King. We have the Sausage King.
Yeah.
Old Schrementi.
He would look awesome with a mullet, by the way.
Dan?
Yeah. So he wants to take the Tiger King Sausage King to a full epic, like Andrew Burke shaved his beard. This is like a kind of a new. Yeah.
Just have Dan grow the mullet.
Do it, Dan.
Do it, Dan.
Do it, Dan.
Do it for G2E. There's still time.
For G2E.
There's still time for you to go mullet. I feel like then he would have to roll in on like maybe not a full Oscar Mayer Wienermobile, but like a sausage, like maybe a bicycle size that you could like pedal into the booth and the crown and just throw sausages into the crowd. I feel like that would be exactly the move.
So for those of you that don't know Dan, he's the El Presidente
of gaming. At Incredible Technologies. And for those of you that are listening that are not as familiar with gaming, you may be going, how do I know the name Incredible Technologies? Well, you've probably been sucking back some beers in a bar and throwing down a little golden tea in the corner. Same company. Different Dans.
Designed by rocket scientists that we're going to get into.
Fun fact.
Fun fact.
So anyway, we're going to talk a little bit about what they're doing. They're doing a lot.
That's
one thing that struck me is when, because I think of them as kind of their niche. They're doing they got their share and they're kind of cranking. He goes, oh no, we're doing like 8 new things that I wouldn't have guessed them for any of them.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting to see kind of their whole deal.
Fun stuff, man.
Yeah. Should we just gamble right into it or what?
Let's just gamble into it, baby. Here we go.
Dan, what is going on, man?
What's happening, guys? I'm glad to be here.
Thanks for coming by.
Welcome to the pod.
Sausage King of Chicago came west for a bit.
Came west. I come out here from Chicago. I brought the snow and the cold and the wind.
What the hell?
Yeah, what's that?
Did not appreciate. You are always welcome. Leave your weather home.
Yeah.
Like we were sunny all last weekend, and now it's just Chicago.
I feel like this is long overdue. I keep saying they said that about the pod last. Like I feel like Dan was supposed to be here 8 months ago.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you guys keep talking about that. That's good.
Yeah. Well, you know what it was? I think part of it was we didn't get as good a vibe from the Zoom.
Yeah.
Right. So when you're doing it on Zoom, like early days, that's all we had. But once you get in person, you get that energy. You got to do it. So then it was just a matter of scheduling from a guy that lives halfway across the country.
Well, I've been a fan. I've known you guys for a long time. I've done a lot of new media stuff back in the day when now that new media is old. This is very impressive what you've got going on here. This is very new.
That.
Yeah, we're working on it.
We're supporting what you guys are doing. And I'm happy to be here in person, and I'm sick of being on video calls. Like many of you probably are.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like we should probably introduce Dan to people that don't know Dan.
Give him a shout. What does he do? What's Dan's old program?
Do we do proper title?
Go for it.
Do you want to?
Proper title?
President of Incredible Technologies.
President of Gaming. Yeah, Incredible Technologies.
Which is a very important distinction because we're going to ask about the non-gaming side, which is almost my more fun side. Because that's how, for me, I was introduced to Incredible Technologies. Yeah. I didn't know them as the money guys and the slot machine, the jigsaw, what is it called? Zigzag? Sawtooth, sorry. I don't get there, but I'm a little rusty. Yeah. And so, like, I didn't know them as that. I knew them as, let's get hammered on $20 unlimited beers and play Golden Tee in the corner of the bar.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know, Incredible Technology also has another little game called Golden Tee. Have you heard of it?
Yeah.
I have. Which side's bigger? I mean, is that I know it's a
the
weird
gaming
question.
side now, but I mean the Golden Tee side,
Forever,
the amusement
right?
side is very famous and
Yeah.
been around 36 years. We were founded by rocket scientists in their basement,
Makes
and
sense.
literally, and
Wait,
you know,
what? Like,
and, they'd be great guests on your podcast.
Yeah.
And then when the arcades kind of fell,
Yeah.
our company was making bar games, and it turned out to be a really great, easy to play game, but difficult to master. It was way ahead of its time, and it was a social game in that you take a shot, I take a shot.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, you can talk, you don't have to pause the game and all of that stuff. And we're one of the first games where you're paying for time instead of like a session or lives. And it just thrived, especially through the late 90s and early 2000s.
Yeah.
And what's cool about it, it got everybody who works there, me included.
Yep.
I was a Golden Tee fan.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I got to ask you, so what is the sales cycle of a Golden Tee machine? Because I know you guys come out with a new version every year, but if I'm a bar and I have version 2020,
right?
Why do I want 2022? How do you guys?
For the longest time, usually we were kind of like in casino gaming, you release hardware, and then you release software updates to that. But not as often are you releasing new hardware. So we released some in 2004 and kind of just did software up until this year.
Yeah.
And then now we're launching the PGA version of Golden Tee, where it's like licensed, and we're co-licensed with the PGA Tour.
Oh, wow.
And PGA wants to be, relevant to, a new market. And it's so we have new hardware shipping right now for the game, but otherwise it's mostly comprised of bars and restaurants, and then fanboys, like
us,
want them in their house.
I was a fanboy. I had one.
Yeah,
you did.
You did
I
have
bought
one.
Yeah, I couldn't keep moving with it. The thing
It's a
weighed
beast.
like,
It's a beast.
Yeah,
that was insane.
It's funny because at the time it seemed like the right move. You going, I'm gonna get sell this thing
Single
online,
guy.
figure it out. We're moving to Vegas, downsizing the spot. Then I'm going, man. If we knew then what we know now, I'd say keep it for the office.
The beauty of
How
it,
good was that?
that game has opened more doors. People you would never guess, just people around the world, athletes and celebrities. People love Golden Tee. So the amount of opportunity it's created, I mean, it's built a business for us.
Yeah, right.
It helped pave the way for us to get into casino gaming. But people just love the game. There's an affectionate spot because a lot of people grew up playing it in college and beyond.
Amen.
And literally that's how I started working there. I mean, I just was a Golden Tee nut, and then and said, I want to work here. I'll do whatever you want. And I was doing tournaments and marketing and podcasts,
like
and things
organizing
like
the tournaments. It's like putting them on, saying, "Hey, we're going to get 100 players and go see who can win." Yeah.
And then all these years later, our Golden Tee World Championship is this weekend at the Westgate.
You going?
Oh, here in town.
I am going.
Yeah.
And we have people that win six figures playing Golden Tee. It was on ESPN, the Ocho last year. And
wait, the Ocho's a real thing?
The Ocho's a real thing.
No way. I thought it was just a dodgeball movie.
We got to get it on MaxBet TV. We got it on the sports book at the Westgate.
No way.
So like the two worlds, even though we're separate,
there's some overlap.
There's some overlap.
Yeah.
And Adam Kramer, who runs that side of the business, and we're just Golden Tee, and he's a gambler.
Okay.
So
it's good pairing.
Good pairing. Yeah.
Do you? So you mentioned the PGA partnership. Does that get you any like invites to some of these fun events? Yeah, he gets to go to all like the Masters and all those.
Yeah. I'm too busy dealing with
+1
slot machine. Less exciting things some days, but he gets all Golden Tee gets the perks. But that game has taken me around the world. And many other people at IT, and it's an amazing special thing.
How'd you make that jump? So you're on the arcade side, and now you're on the gaming side.
Yeah, it's a kind of an interesting tale. I've been there 18 years. It was my second job.
Yeah. Congrats, you're legal.
I can't believe it. I worked for the Chicago White Sox. I'm a lifelong White Sox fan.
Southsider, got it. Okay.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what we were doing here.
Yeah. So I love sports. And I was playing Golden Tee, and I go, I want to work, So that's kind of how I landed in that, because I thought it was sports-ish. But all of our tournaments, when I was running those, were at casinos. So I would be flying out to go to these casinos. I was a new employee. I wasn't making a lot of money, so I started playing penny games.
Was that just coincidental that they were at casinos, or is it like
there was an overlap?
Because was it like just, hey, this is kind of a gamble, or
they
something?
need something to do when they're not. They're skill-based tournaments, but when they're not playing the skill tournaments, they want to. They were poker players and slot players.
Interesting. Okay.
So I started playing penny slots 15 years ago,
Yeah.
WMS Bluebird and all that stuff.
right.
Because I didn't, back then you could play for cheap.
The old
back in
goldfish.
my day.
He's hanging out. Yeah.
And I fell in love with those just because it was a great time kill and I was
Yeah.
already there and it was fun and all the goofy, I can rattle off all these nonsense games that I loved. But then now when a couple years later, they go, hey, we know how to make hardware. We know how to make software. We think we're going to make a multi-game poker to take out the Game King, which was a terrible idea. And
it's the wrong king to come.
they go, does anybody play slots? And I'm like, I play slots. And that's,
I like goldfish.
I will tell you, like, if as you guys know, if you love what you do,
Yeah.
and you like the games,
Yeah.
the job is easy.
Yeah, right.
For
You know,
sure.
but if you have to painfully study the games like they're scientific artifacts or something,
Yeah, right.
well, then the job's hard.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
know?
This is going to be a tough question for you because Elaine's probably going to listen to this. But do you wish you were back on the arcade side? Or are you happy you made the jump to the
it was
gaming side?
gaming has been I've now been in this since like 2007 and 8. I was kind of overlapping. No, I love this. It turns out what I love in the gaming side is there's a lot more opportunity.
Yeah.
You're dealing with a lot bigger corporations. You're meeting a lot more people that are doing a lot more innovative new things.
Right.
Where in amusement, it's a fun industry because we're the top dog.
Yep.
But it's a little bit grew out of a mom and pop industry, so it's a little different.
Yeah.
Where this has very much pushed me in a lot of ways. And I love it. I've grown to love the people. I can't picture myself not in it. Really.
Yeah. It's interesting. So you talk about mom and pop, right? Coming from the golf side. I think a lot of folks would describe IT that way on the gaming side, not in a derogatory way. This isn't a comment about like, are you efficient or sizable, but family owned feeling, right? Like a lot of people, when you talk about working there, they go, well, that's family, man. Like that's who we are. And I know you guys have had a chance in the past. Like a lot of people come knocking and go, hey, big check and sell that business. You said, no, we're taking care of our people. Like, is that all just from that same roots or what drives a lot of that part of your culture?
Our culture, we didn't realize we had a great culture because we never really talk about it because it just is.
Just how you
It just is. Being in Chicago is a little unique now because there's, different group of people, different stuff going on. And what it is a culture that it gives people opportunities. I mean, I've had the opportunity to move up from Duffer Dan, who was making those videos, to
Good old Duffer Dan.
So that was your that
was my alias.
You were the guy.
Sausage Dan to Duffer Dan.
Oh, yeah,
What's your new title?
What are you now?
Right now?
President Dan?
Yeah, you
President
can just
Dan?
go, El Jefe. No, I don't know. I still deep down am Duffer Dan. That's what I love about it.
So what was your shtick for Duffer Dan? Were
So
you
Duffer
chugging
Dan-
beers like Duff Beer, like
Duffer
Simpsons?
Dan was hired the same day as Steve Sobey, the 3-time national champ, and they wanted me to learn how to play Golden Tee from him.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then travel the country and make videos and, and do all this. And it was when YouTube was new. There's all these videos out there where we were doing all this stuff. And at the time, I really enjoyed it. I would go into a bar. If you guys remember Mike Rowe from Dirty Jobs, I kind of took that same approach, like the sarcastic, because these guys were goofy, but they were fun and they were really talented. They're very talented at Golden
When you're playing
Tee.
Golden Tee, so you got to have a little fun, right? Like
But they're pretty hardcore though.
How good are you at Golden Tee?
I'm not that good anymore. I was okay, but
Yeah.
I'm not right now. I feel like I'm terrible.
But you can walk in a bar today and
You're gonna beat
crush
most
some
guys.
I can
souls,
beat
right?
like a person who doesn't play for sure.
So,
but anybody who I don't
yeah.
know the courses like I did because I'm doing.
Oh, that's probably part of the key.
That's a
huh?
But
big
it's an
part of the
extreme game. Like when I had it in my house, your palm would get bruised. We had gloves that we had to wear because it hurt, dude.
Well, the thing about that is I was always amazed that you couldn't break it. I mean, I'm sure they break every now and again, but we would wail on that game. You got
used
big
to be
guys,
able to
right?
You're a
break
big
it.
guy.
Yeah, we spent a lot of effort making it.
It's like a pool cue ball. Like that thing is.
But I've had all the thing. The old one was 600 pounds. I had one fall on me once when I was putting it together. I mean, like we were. It seemed like no matter what, there was always an adventure with that game. And but a lot of it brought us to Vegas. A lot of our tournaments were always here. At the Rio or at, even at just different places.
Yeah.
And so having it tonight at the Westgate is fun. We've had the Worlds at the Orleans for the last few years. We were the first a live esports tournament like that to get put on the sports book a few years ago, and that day we got more bets than NASCAR and PGA, which we thought was.
Wait, what? That's pretty crazy.
We thought that was awesome.
wild.
It was like
awesome.
a random weekend.
More bets than actual golf on Golden Tee golf that weekend.
I mean, it was probably all Golden Tee players, but it was fun.
So what? Like outnumber the golfers.
I'm surprised there was this big phase, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago, the skill-based gaming, all these companies coming in and making skill-based games. Right. It's interesting that you guys have two separate companies, the arcade company and then the gaming side company, but you've never really merged the two and creating like a skill-based Golden Tee.
Because we've spent so much time, money, effort learning how to have skill-based contests in states where you're allowed to have them. For it's small wagers, it's a small, it's not even a wager. It's you pay to enter the tournament and you can win up to like $7, things like that. Yeah. Or there's contests for prizes and things. And that we've honed in on. So we didn't want to take that product, and sports games and bars or casinos just typically don't do that great. Yeah. And we didn't want to, it's the golden goose, and we don't just want to brand it to anything. Yeah. So that's how that happened. Everybody asks us that all the time.
It's a good call, I think. I think that would have been a huge waste of money.
So whatever that tells you.
I mean, you remember there was a Big Buck Hunter slot machine for a while. There's people who've tried, and it's a tough leap because the skill, either a master is going to ruin it, or like a newbie's not, they got to placate to them. So like Big Buck, you could shoot the gun, off to the side, and it was still
give you
winning
the kill.
You money.
Yeah, interesting.
So we didn't want to do that. Percentage. We have a iPhone game now too, and same thing. It's meant to be a competitive game.
Yeah, interesting.
Wild. What's the most anyone's ever won on a Golden Tee tournament?
Yeah, you doing like $1 million tournaments?
They've never been up to $1 million.
What are we waiting for?
We've had I think the pot at Westgate's $150,000 or something like that.
A pretty nice chunk of change.
There's a handful of people who are making somewhere in that 6-figure range there for a while, and and then a lot of them have day jobs. They just play Golden Tee at night. It's crazy.
So I'm trying to picture this. So are most of these guys like Norm from Cheers, which you kind of think of like bar guy? Are these like athletic?
They're pretty athletic.
Oh, okay.
Well, I don't know. Like, what do you think, right?
They're, they wear, some of our best players are quite athletic, great golfers.
Really?
You'd be surprised.
I would. That's what I'm saying. I don't even know how to picture this. Because like a lot of times you think of the bar, some guy just pounding pints all night, banging on the Golden Tee. He's obviously not going to win the 150, but you go, is this guy training?
For a while, we had a bowling game where we were doing the tournaments. They were more like Norm from Cheers.
So it kind of follows. So the guys that virtual bowl look like real bowlers, and the guys that virtual golf look like golf.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's wild.
Okay, so you went from
Duffer Dan, which I love that they just paid you to go fly around with this guy and learn how to play.
Yeah, it was fun.
To El Presidente.
Yeah, really over that time. I mean, in between there, I became a product person for the slot side. I really helped develop our product marketing mix and how to make games and what we were going to make and all of that. And then they wanted a product person to be in charge of sales for like about 6 or 7 years. And I did that. And so I learned a ton because I'm not a salesperson. I'm a product. I'm a player, and I think like a product. I like to tell myself that at least. And then, recently, our owners of our company are, they're great human beings who I've worked for loyally for many, many years. And they wanted to take a little bit of a step back and start enjoying some of the times. I mean, they've been running this thing for 35 years. And over the pandemic, they go, I think it's time, you're ready. And that's how IT is. I mean, they go, I'm not a CEO from the outside. I'm a person who loves and believes in everything the company does. I have a lot of people at our company very passionate about what we do. We take our success or failure very personally. Yep. That's why people say like how you introduced me and said, you guys just got a different vibe. I can't quite put my finger on it. Right. It's because a lot of our staff doesn't leave. We don't hire a lot of outside people. We do where we need to, but in between there, we've become a real gaming company, a really casino gaming company who's, I tell our staff all the time, I go, we have a fraction of the amount of employees as our other competitors. And yet we've become a company where people are excited to see what crazy idea we bring to a trade show.
You know what you guys have done very well over the years that I've noticed? It's like, keep it simple, stupid, right? Because AGS, any slot company, we try to figure out how to put this top box, top screen on a machine. It's like, it's got to talk to the game, and there's all these rules, and you got to go through all this software. You guys go get a 42-inch VCO, slap it to the top of the screen, plug in like a USB that has showing the winds, and boom, you guys had the first top box, and it was killer.
I call it survival innovation.
Yeah.
I mean, at that time, you guys are in it now, right? You're at that efficiency startup phase where you go, I need to come up with a big idea, but I can't outspend my competition.
Yeah.
So back then, our Simple Sign, I was a big part of that team. I said, let's just put poles on the back of the cabinet. It's cheaper to buy a LCD screen than a topper back then.
Yeah.
And we take that approach of thinking on everything we do where, and now we're spending a lot more. Let me tell you, we are.
And you still, you're growing.
We're going, we can't beat Aristocrat, Cygames, IGT, whoever in a R&D spend, but we can pass an idea that they would never pass. I mean, the Sawtooth, our zigzag games, a lot of that. Those are passion projects with me and a group of people at IT because we love studying retail.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of approach we take. So even yesterday, we were walking around casinos here going like, well, we can't beat that game. We can't beat that game, but we can outthink them and come up with something that gets them to notice, retail is war, as I always say, and the casino environment is a tough place.
Yeah.
So where does the Sawtooth come from? So this is the thing you see, right? And it's the zigzag.
Yeah.
I first saw it and I go, somebody had a good night with that. But it's just, to your point, it's unconventional. You're used to seeing games in a row, and now you get them all askew, and it's like, well, what were you trying to solve for? Like, where'd that come from?
Anybody who knows me, who watches this, is going to know what I say next, which is, if you've never read the book Why We Buy, you should read it. It's a retail marketing book, but it studies the art and science of how you look at things, and I have that attitude when I see things. So I was at Porch Creek. I give all the credit to them in the world. Years ago, we were at Porch Creek, and they had a game in their high limit room where they angled them. That was all they did.
And so
I'm going to kill him.
Well, that's what
everybody. Blue is in and out of the podcast room right now. He barked to get in, and now he's barking to get out. Not that you care, but he's employee of the month, so I'm going to let him out.
We're firing him. He's going to stay home.
When I saw that, and I knew we were coming out with our edges, which were the LCD panels that go in between it. Because the downside of just angling the games is that you can see the backs of the games.
Now there's like a whole thing, fill void. Yeah.
So, and I was taking pictures of those chairs at the airports, where the chairs are kind of like humans don't want to face each other.
Yeah, but they all have power, which I like about them. Yeah, right.
So like we go, you know what? That's an easy innovation where we could do something.
Yeah,
I know what he's smelling. That's an easy innovation where we could do something where it's like, I'm not going to outspend Aristocrat or IGT or whoever, but it's an idea that changed the way people kind of approach gaming. You know? It worked.
Seating inspiration made a lot of sense.
And it separated us a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's really all you're trying to do.
Well, half the battle nowadays is just standing out, right?
Right.
Getting players to the game and then letting the math speak for itself. But you got a lot of competition on the floor.
Right. We're up against everything.
Yeah. No doubt. So then with Sawtooth obviously succeeding, and then before that with Skybox, all this other stuff, it sounds like it was just born of necessity. You're like, actually, I can afford 42 inches more than I could do a 20-inch.
Well, and like we have
topper.
We have drawings on a whiteboard where we went, all right, we got the topper sideways.
Yep.
Why don't we just put it vertical?
Yeah.
And what we learned with our company, this is why we've always gone with giant screens. We spend a lot of our money on the screens. Like our art teams are as good as and better than as many of our competitors that we can name. You give them pixels, it's going to look great. Sometimes the hardware itself is hard to compete on because there's a lot of tooling and crazy expense and materials and all that. So that's where the Skybox came from. We can run software up on the top and on the bottom with the same, hardware that we had.
Yeah.
And kind of the rest was history. That really was what propelled us and put us on the map. And then, since then it's been competing in as many segments as we can. And that's been, it's a battle. As you guys know, you came from the supplier side, you have good days and bad.
Bloody fight. Man.
It's a bloody fight. So we got our new cabinet where we go, well, let's put a motor on it so that it goes up and down.
Well, that's the screen thing, right? Yeah. So that's what I was going to say. So like, I guess part of it is we were talking about this offline. Not with you just but just in general, where it's like, man, the fight to stand out in the slot manufacturing world is unbelievable.
Well, and I call it the blurry eye test. Like I don't want somebody which a lot of slot players have blurry eyes. to look at our game and think it looks like everybody else's game.
Yeah.
So whatever you can do to go, well, it's this way now, but now the bonus game, that's the game that goes up and down. If you know nothing else about it, it does that. And but trying to build that in the pandemic was, not easy.
Yeah.
Has that hit the floors yet?
It's hitting the floors now, and it's like it's been a battle, supply chain and all the stuff you guys hear about. It's but it's also because we took a huge swing and it's paying off, and
it's doing well.
But where it goes, it's doing well, right?
Yeah, and like the beauty of it to me is like, as much as I love Todd Eilers as a friend of mine, and I love reading all those reports, it's not out in mass. So we know it's doing well.
Yeah.
The world's about to find out it's doing well. It's all over here in Vegas, but they all started shipping in January. So to us, it's like, that's that fun second where you go, well, we got a good thing. And, we
just wait.
Just wait till you see what we're seeing. And it's, but man, getting them off the loading dock has been a battle, but we're making it happen. When you're smaller, it's not as easy as just going, well, let's just order 10,000 units.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, exactly.
Are you guys focused at all in online, like taking some of your content and pushing it over?
Yeah, so we've got a couple deals in motion for that, and we've got a whole team we've got our own RGS now. So we've got a whole team making online content. That all started through the pandemic too. And then in the middle of that too, in the pandemic, we launched online, the new Prism VXP cabinet. We got approved in France to sell our games there. We got licensed for New York.
Because why wouldn't you want to be in France?
Why wouldn't you?
France is good.
It's like a random. That's random. There you go.
We got a license for New York Lotto, which is a tough license to get. We got one. And we're about to launch ETGs and HHR, historic horse racing. So table games, just get away from the acronyms, electronic table games and historic horse racing. All of that is launching right now. And it was all developed through.
How many developers do you have?
Not that many.
Yeah, because that's amazing. So just from our past, right? Like the continue to compete in class 3 is its own burden, right?
Yep.
So taking on, whether it's hardware, software, both, obviously you need. Building out a VLT lottery product is its own
own beast,
right? I mean, the good news is I'm assuming, and I don't want to speak for you, but there's other VLT markets outside of New York. I'm assuming you're saying, well, as the time unfolds, we can go and enter potentially other markets. Right. HHR is another one that's not exactly easy to build.
Right. Yeah, I think you guys have had the Exacta guys, and so we're working with them. Tough. And what's funny, you asked that culture question at the beginning. A lot of our best programmers and the people that are working on the platform are people who coded Golden Tee.
Interesting.
Like they've just been with us for a super long time. They built our platform from scratch. They know how it works. They love working there. And that's part of what makes us special is that we're able to go, hey, we need to add HHR functionality into our system. And they go, well, one of our programmers, you buy him a pizza and a case of beer and he thinks about it. And it's going to take me 3 months. And we take that for granted.
I'm going to want pizza tonight.
When I hire people from outside the industry, other companies, and they see that, they go, you guys, that's not normal. And I go, well, to us, we're mad. It doesn't take 2 months.
It's like 2 months. We got quotes in our past life. It's like, well, you want 3 years to enter New York. It's like, what?
Right. Yeah, that one's been a big project.
Kind of beers
I gotta say, that is not a 3 month project.
Yeah, fair enough.
A lot of pizzas and a lot of beer.
It's like Chicago style deep dish. That guy's working wonders over there. Oh, that's massive. So ETGs, it's an interest. The other ones I get, right? Because it's an extension of kind of your core. You go, look, we're a slot company. We're doing a different kind of slots for VLT, a different kind of slots HHR.
Right.
ETG is kind of a random pivot. What
one.
Made you get into that space?
So obviously the ETG, capital of the universe is in Slovenia.
Yeah.
Those who follow everything in gaming know that. There are a lot of really great companies there. The guys from Zoom, ZUUM, Zoom, wanted to get into the US, realized, hey, if we do it by ourselves, we're kind of set up for failure for what they are. And they were a lot like us. They're a smaller, nimble, very good technology, very good innovators, hardware. And it was a good relationship. All struck up through COVID.
That's wild.
And it really required handing a real partnership where we have to basically own the product here to be them here. It's crazy because we launched it at NIGA. That's when we announced that we were doing it. It was still under development at that point. And we're about to launch our first few test banks here coming up. And we've really high expectations. And we're already working on, I can't reveal just yet, but I will when we have it. I mean, incredible technologies, level innovations for table games, which is really why we did the deal. I mean, like, we don't want to compete toe to toe with.
I can only imagine.
The giant
that was my next question. You have like a Ruse, Interblock that are pretty like
entrenched
strongholds in this space.
And that's what they're great at.
And so
games, don't forget side games.
Inside games, how do you the iTable stuff? How do you compete in that market and diverse, like be competitive? Like, what do you guys do? You can't reveal that.
I can't reveal all of it.
I'll give us a little.
I can reveal one part of it is the easy part. It's just like for the type of customer that wants to deal with a type of company like ours.
Yep.
Smaller, easy. No offense against those companies. They're all great companies. But sometimes you have in gaming, there's another tier of customer who wants to do those kind of deals.
Yep.
So we've gotten a lot of initial interest from that.
Yeah.
But the golden goose for us is to do something innovative and go, let's do something nobody else has done and do it well.
Now you got me interested.
Yeah,
I can't wait
we're hoping to be there by G2E.
Out of your crazy lab.
We'll see.
Take the booth door. So how does that partnership get started? I mean, you said it's in the pandemic. Did you know those
LinkedIn.
guys? That's what I was hoping you'd say.
Yeah.
Because I cannot tell you how many relationships I have now based on LinkedIn.
Yeah, it's an amazing place.
It's unreal. And if you take there's probably more spam than there is actual content. But when you go in and people start messaging you, it's like I read them all, which I might have just invited myself to a lot more messages. But it's like I don't always respond to everything.
You can tell when it's legit.
Is it a place for social posts?
No.
Well, I don't want. Look, my kids aren't going to go on there, right? But like, it's business related social.
Yeah.
Business social.
And so, like, we just did Burke's old beard shave.
That was great.
That made a lot of sense. It was
that was like.
Now it's
maybe
almost
over the line.
10,000 views.
That was not over the line.
Okay.
Yeah, that I love that. Love Burke. Love the beard being gone. Love the Fu Manchu thing he had going on there for a minute. The handlebar.
I really enjoyed the mustache. I wish you'd have kept the mustache.
I think he might have been happier if he had.
And it's no offense against Brian Green, but I felt like the bet was a little heavy-handed on Burke.
That's on Burke.
Customer's gonna win,
and he knows it.
Right?
Yeah, should have took the points.
Take the points.
A little heavy on the shaved head.
PG, all good.
What are we gonna do?
Yeah, that's wild. So that's what I was hoping. Somebody sends a LinkedIn note going, all right, I'm thinking of doing something. You want to do something?
That's how it happened.
I know. It's like
me working in my
hungry,
slippers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Working in your slippers.
Yeah, working in my slippers in the middle of the pandemic, panicking like everybody else in gaming.
Just button up shirt and basketball shorts, just going after it.
Pretty much it.
Zoom.
I'm excited to see this ETG product.
Yeah, we got some cool stuff. And then we've got... it's like, how do you one up the cabinet that goes up and down? That's now our new challenge. So we're working on that.
The bonus, it just spins around you like you're in some sort of wizard's
we're working on that.
Yeah.
And then, meanwhile, trying to just grow the company and be a little more diversified and do all that and keep, our long-term employees happy and keep our new people excited to be there and, grow. Yeah, I'm out here looking at our Vegas office going, what are we going to do with that?
Where is your Vegas office?
It's in Tivoli Village.
Oh, okay. So it's across town.
Yeah. So like that office here has like yoga outside and a nice little bakery. Our office at home is like in the woods where, it's got a pond. It's very different.
Different feeling.
Yeah.
Does the pond have koi fish?
It doesn't have any fish, which is irritating.
Yeah.
You got to stock your own pond. That's it. So I don't know anything. I'm not an outdoorsman. I enjoy going outside, but like Robert Perry,
Thank you for that.
I just feel like I should qualify. But RP would always tell us he's towing in like he was down in Arkansas or Mississippi or whatever, and he's like, shows the video. He goes, "Oh, this is the state stocking the river," and it's like a dump truck just whoop. Then now you go, well, now there's like 1 million trout in the river or whatever, salmon, right?
This is why we got to get people in gaming out of Vegas once in a while. Because this is the weird stuff that happens in our other markets.
But you got to stock your pond is what I'm saying. Like if you want to have fishing breaks there for your dev team,
It's another world. I always wish if you guys are ever out in Chicago, you let us know and we'll show you
I'd love to.
The inner sanctum.
That's it. Yeah, it'd be fun. It's fun now. Like I will say this one thing, being on the outside of the game for now 5 months, or now we're like definitely not a threat.
Yeah.
We've been invited to most of the offices.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's such a foreign thing because people even in town are like, oh, come to the office. I'm like, hey, where is it?
Right.
Like you don't know where our office is? No, I was competing with you for 15 years. I'd never thought about going there. Oh, okay, I'll swing by.
But that's where IT is a little weird. Like we would have invited you there.
Yeah, fair enough.
But but that's kind of like I've gotten to know people in gaming that way, and maybe it's a bit naive sometimes because it is cutthroat. But come on over. I mean, AGS is one of our partners. I mean, we distribute games with AGS.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a lot of frenemy relationships in this business too, for sure.
Yeah, sure.
That's pretty wild. So we've been out of the game for almost 6 months, right?
Yeah.
Has the sales cycle changed at all coming out of the pandemic? I'm curious because I don't
I'd say
know.
Right, this finally it's better. I mean, we had this kind of line last year. I was pretty open. We're very kind of blunt company that way. I mean, last year everybody was bragging about record profit, right? It was like record, you know, this. And yet the manufacturers were still kind of going, okay, cool. Like, you're going to sign this contract or, our thing was, hey, you know, we didn't lay anybody off. We didn't furlough anybody. We didn't do that.
Right.
But we spent a lot of money to develop all this stuff. Like, it's time for you to step up. And I will say the operating industry has so far this year. You guys know they plan capital like months in advance.
It's changed how they operate, in my opinion, how they operated pick and choose games now. It's much more data driven than it was in the past. Like in the past, it was like, oh, we usually get, you know, 30% IGT, 30% Zy games, whatever, 10, whatever the percentage is. And they just stuck with that. It didn't matter. Now it's like real dialed data. Right. This is what we need, because they had to get much more finite during the pandemic time. So I was wondering, now that we're kind of getting out of it, if they're back in that cycle.
I think they are. You know, I'm curious how the next wave goes. Not talking about COVID, Omicron or anything. But the wave of spend, because typically you get kind of an influx now, and then there's like the late comers before the show. But I think a lot of people this year didn't. There are going to be a lot of new products announced, I'm sure, at G2E this year.
I'd imagine you have a big backlog. All these guys held off.
People are going to hold off on their capital.
You're not going to release it in the middle of a pandemic, right?
So we're absolutely planning for that. Like, we think that, you know, we can't use old years, to your point, Landon, to like, you know,
forecast.
Because I think they're going to be holding on a little bit later, waiting to see everybody's coolest new stuff. And I actually think a lot of that stuff's going to get introduced earlier, because it's like, why wait? You know?
Yeah. Why wait?
Crazy days.
Yeah. So do you think then, so going forward, obviously you're entering these other markets, like you mentioned, but you kind of said, and you didn't obviously use these words, but you're kind of like the wacky innovators, right? Like, you have fun. You're like, hey, we're going to try the Sawtooth thing. We're going to try the big old screens, right? Like, is that your identity moving forward?
It's always been, you know, if you ever saw our games when we first launched, we had some it was all crazy stuff. Though in there was crazy money, which was the most basic of the game. So that taught us a lesson, because it was basic to us, but it had innovations in it. And like I've often said with our team, we go, you know, innovations come in small doses. But at the same time, we try to balance the portfolio. You know, it's like a stock investment. You got a couple crazy high end, scary, volatile ones, and then you know, all right, maybe I try a couple easy, you know, nice and steady mutual funds, whatever. We look at the way we make our games the same way. Like this one's going to be, we call it the wacky basket, you know, be a bunch of our biggest, craziest idea. And then over here is, maybe we'll do a hold and spin game. But the trick is, like, we don't want to be fast followers. We never were. We don't want to be competing toe to toe with, you know, the same, you know, apples to apples game as some of our competition, because some of them are great at it.
Really good.
You know?
And then to your point about some of the ones you mentioned earlier, size-wise, just super efficient, right? So they're going to say, hey, we'll do that same thing you're trying to fast follow, but we'll do it at 10,000 unit pricing, not 500 unit, right? So then it's like, dude, how do you
so you got to make something different and balance it.
I'm excited. That's what I like. I like, you know, I think we talked to Andrew about it, but still, it's just like, I like having
he's doing it too.
There's still room for this kind of interesting.
Well, the other weird twist we have, because we're one of the only privately owned companies in gaming, we've always approached sales as fair share based. So anybody who follows that knows fair share is like, I'm 1% of the floor, but I'm 2% of the win. Therefore, let me sell another half a percent and see if it closes the gap. We don't have shareholders to answer to that way. So we live and die by that. How many games should we have on your floor? Good and bad. I mean, there's years where you go, crap, like we gotta trade some of those games. We've been there, and but I'm telling you, it makes a more sustainable environment of sales, because you go, hey, a 6-pack, that's great. Happy. It's not, you don't have somebody in the back room going like, why wasn't it 18?
Why wasn't it more?
You know,
that's always fun.
It's a weird balance in gaming.
There's no worse feeling as a sales guy coming back with what you think is a big order, and then somebody just cutting your knees going, oh, 36 games? That should have been 50. Why?
I don't, you know, I'm sure, I don't know that anybody agrees, but I think it's one of the most flawed parts of our industry. It's like people buy based on a lot of other things, relationships, price, this or that, but really it's performance based at the end. So you got to live and die by what should your footprint be. And there's days where it's not easy to face that. And then you have to fight that and go, well, what am I going to come out with? What are we going to make to?
Well, as a sales guy, you got to fight it on both sides. You got to
Right.
fight that relationship with your customer, and then you got to fight that relationship with your boss. Or
Right. And customers, I've said this before, are sometimes equally guilty in the equation. They go, oh, Kiski, I like you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm opening this new section.
Give me
I'm
100
going to take,
games.
give you
whatever.
100. And then you're taking that order. You go back to the office. You go, I got 100. And somebody
I
in the
feel?
back of the office goes, oh, man, like, okay.
Should
Like,
have been 60. Yeah, or something. No,
And-
I'm with you.
and it's odd, but that's how we look at our, for the past 8 years, we've approached it that way. And it's helped.
Well, that'll be longevity, right? I mean, I can't tell you. I think a lot of, anyway, the good, what I'll call like long-term sales guys or people in that biz, executives now, have all had that moment where they go, customer says, hey, I'll buy way more than I should. And then they go, yeah, you don't want to do that.
Right.
Right. I want the money, don't get me wrong, but you don't want to
Right.
do that.
Right.
The customer goes, wait, what? And then all of a sudden they go, well, I'll buy from you for life.
Right.
Right?
It's
Like just-
trustworthy.
yeah,
It's
for
the
sure.
right way to be.
So for your guys to have that kind of message across the board is like, they're going, all right, well, I'm going to trust what IT says.
Right.
If
And
they
we've
commit.
we've screwed it up before,
Yeah.
just like everybody has. And sometimes you go into it knowing, well, yeah, look back and we shouldn't have did that, but then you fix it.
Yeah.
That's what you got to do.
what has been a challenge for you going from the product role to the president role? Like,
Yeah.
What's the big hurdle?
I kind of go through these conflict stages with that where you're like, I know I was good at the product thing.
yeah,
Not to sound like I'm not saying arrogant about it, but I liked it and I enjoyed it and I had a track record. The executive management part is like a whole new
Right.
set of problems and challenges. And there are days where you go, I don't know if I'm good at this. Like, and then when I talk to other people, I talk to Andrew a lot
Yeah.
actually, because we
That's
share
awesome.
a lot of similar thoughts.
Yeah,
and you
right.
go, you know what? Well, that's what a good leader should be thinking is, I don't know that I'm that good at this yet.
yeah.
That's been the biggest challenge.
Well,
you know?
define good at it. Like at what point are you going, I'm good at this?
Well, right. The scoreboard tells the tale of the tape.
Is it just the financials, like at the
It's
end of the day?
finan-
going,
like
we
you
hit our-
look at what you
whatever your
can.
goal was?
You look at, you try to see, your financials, your performance of the company, how many employees that you're keeping or losing. I look at that stuff.
Yeah, right.
And then a lot of those, I know we're doing a good job, but it's like you can always, it's never
There's
reaching
level
the
ups
goal.
available. Yeah.
And
Well, I was going to say one of the things. So I've been chatting, obviously, through the podcast or just networking now that I'm off. And it's like you talk to a lot of CEOs and presidents and big name guys or girls as well. And you go, one thing that always is in common is they're always working on some kind of thing in their head where they're just going. And it's different for everybody. Like everybody's problems that they're chewing on are different. But you go, oh, they don't have that figured out.
Right.
And these are names of people that you would go, if any company named them, the next CEO or board, anyone on the outside would go, oh, that's a great hire.
Right.
And then you talk to them and they're like, yeah, they're pretty good. But then they go, so I'm trying to figure this out.
And if
then
you're
they'll just
not-
ping you. What do you think?
And if you're not, that's probably bad. Like if you're going, yeah, I got it figured out.
Yeah.
You probably don't. It's
I know, but my point to any of that is saying, I don't know if there's ever a point where you go, I've arrived. Like, I
don't
feel like
think
you just
so.
keep marching down the road.
I
and you got
definitely
the
haven't
president's
been there
title
yet.
on,
I
right?
think there's the time when you've arrived, and that's the time you need to go find another job
yeah.
Fair enough.
because you've hit your
fair
ball,
enough.
you've hit your ceiling. You're no longer challenged.
I'll tell you guys, like I've lately, as it's been trying times between COVID and
Yeah,
supply
it's a lot
chain
going
and
on,
all this stuff, I find the most validation in when you can connect with an employee or a customer where like you can tell you made somebody's life, day, career,
Better,
whatever, like a tiny bit better.
Yeah.
You go like, well, despite all the other things that went a little hard and sideways today, like that was a good thing.
Yeah.
And then I always wonder in my head, like if somebody were to see me 5 years from now, would they go, well, that guy was an ass, or would they go, you know what? That was fun back then.
Yeah.
That was fun. I appreciate that. Cause that's usually the test of,
Yeah.
are you handling it right? Or are you handling it wrong? Cause we all know the plans, they don't come to fruition.
No.
It's just but you gotta have them.
Yeah.
You gotta,
For sure. Well, I mean, that's what we always say. Like we're getting into some weird stuff, trying like rip
Right.
ambitious goals. And we're like, hey, I'm just gonna be honest with you. Like, some people might like it, some people might not, but they go, well, at least you didn't lie. Like that's
Right.
in sales. That was always the thing. Like, hey, we might have oversold you. And then but we still show back up and however long after and go, yeah, you're probably going to yell at me.
Right.
I'm bringing out this thing. But it's like, I feel like at the end of the day, most of the customers are going, yeah, it's still a good dude though.
yeah.
Right.
Right.
Dudes
That's what
are-
That's
you
when you
want,
get
right?
on the free conversion train.
Well, that was Landon giving away the store.
Yeah. But see, now when you look at it from my point of view, it's like, oh, free conversions, man. Like
Yeah.
Son of
it's a
a.
bad word.
That's it. Yeah, it's just swearing. All right, so I don't want to put you on the spot, man, but you brought a little.
Yes,
little
I brought
cooler
you.
back
I brought
here.
you.
bring
I'm
here.
interested. Sausage King of Chicago.
why
So
my
yeah,
dog
you
was
opened
trying to
up
get
with
in there.
that. I'm putting this up here. For those that know me, a lot of people know me as the sausage guy, and like it's a
love
silly
this.
thing.
It's so
But
cool.
I for years had a very personal project. I learned to make sausage with my grandfather.
That's
It's a
right.
good family recipe, and so I had my buddies coming over to my house, and we'd be making sausages and whatever. Well, in gaming, everybody became your friends on Facebook.
Right.
It's like, hey man, like I saw this picture, like you guys were making sausages in your driveway. Like, what's that about? And like at first I was closed off. I'm like, no, I don't want the gaming people
talking about that.
to know about my sausage thing.
And for those of you that are listening, because not everybody watches on YouTube, this bag that Dan just brought up on our table says Sausage Fest Summer 2020 Quarantine Reserve.
I couldn't even tell that. Yeah, that's funny.
It's so one day I go, you know what? I'm gonna open this up to like friends. And then this is where you learn like your friends you have friends in this industry.
Yeah, right.
I've known you guys outside of this podcast.
Right.
Instance.
For sure.
I've had people show up in my house that run giant casinos or work for competitors.
Yeah.
And then I'll see them in my garage once a year making sausage with like my college drunken roommates. And you go, what a world.
So this is cool. Yeah.
So it's turned into a thing.
That's
I make
awesome.
1,000 pounds a year, pretty much.
Jeez.
The party
How many
is
a
links
lot of
is that?
sausage, bro.
Is that like
about 1,000.
it's just about a 1 pound.
And then like we turned it into a charity event because like I had a friend pass away of ALS, and we go, you know what? Let's make it a charity. Like it's just for fun.
Yeah.
And it was a little lesson I've learned in business that I pass on to people. It's like, don't have a barrier up. The most interesting people you work with are the ones you know for real.
Yeah.
And if you want to know me, I'm the sausage guy. So, so I brought you each. I owe you more.
You know,
Presents from Chicago. This is official Sausage Fest sausage.
Buddy.
It's been freezer packed for a while.
Packed with love. 2 days after my birthday.
I carried this all the way here, frozen, for you guys. And I risked life and limb to bring you.
Load. Yeah.
I risked life and limb to bring you.
What is this?
Treasures.
Oh my gosh.
The Chicago
These
peppers.
are the sausage
These are famous.
toppings.
This is what you need. I got hot and mild Jardinere.
Yeah.
So I want to be, you guys said I can bring a painting or something.
No, the jars.
I brought
We're in.
Jardinere. So anybody who's from Chicago or been there knows this is
staple.
Like the garden of Chicago. So
I love this.
Thank you, man.
this is hot and mild for the boys
awesome.
here.
Yeah, perfect.
And I've been around the world for gaming. I was in China and Macau once, and somebody goes, "You're the sausage guy." so now that being on here makes it official.
This is so good. So I got to ask a question, not specifically about this, but when you're making it, do you have a special like Kiss the Chef apron that you wear,
I have special aprons. It's a whole production.
And then do we have like I remember the old cartoons where they'd have the links and they'd be like strung up on.
I've done that too.
Yeah. Okay, perfect.
I'm gonna show.
I gotta dive into the Insta
the
feed
sausage because I don't think everybody can see it. So if you're watching on YouTube,
they cracked me up like last year because I ship this stuff. So if people want it, like let me know. We ship it. It all goes to charity, which is really
Scrementi's.
fun.
I didn't even notice this was your.
That's my logo.
Scrementi's.
But I've made it a charity event and and it's fun. But one year, Todd Eilers ordered a bunch of sausage, and I go like, you just have to put me in your book as the #1 sausage in the gaming industry.
Give me the award.
So I don't know a lot, but I know I got the best Italian sausage in the gaming industry.
That's awesome. What
well done.
what was I going to ask you?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Sausage kind of throws everything off. So
just like start thinking about meats, and I can't.
you got the sweats.
You got the meat sweats.
So if people, I know what it was. It's more virtuous than that. So is there a site people can support you? Like if they
Scrementi.com.
charity, they go Scrementi.com.
Yeah.
Perfect.
What is your charity? Oh, the
It
ALS.
goes to ALS.
research.
Yeah, all the money goes to them, and it's and when we're doing a new batch here at the end of March, and I'm going to send you guys a case of the fresh stuff, and you let me know if you like it.
Can't wait.
Dang, man. Thank you very much.
But this is like your trial edition.
Perfect. This is just to test our grill skills.
But what's great, it's like I made this
tomorrow.
recipe with my grandpa as a little kid.
How'd your grandpa get into it?
He was just Southside Chicago, making everybody make sausages and hanging out. We were making them in our garage, and
it's just what you do.
Yeah.
I love this.
I always joke around. It's like when I write the autobiography that nobody reads, it would be called How the Sausage Was Made. You know, have a slot machine and sausages. Like that's my tale.
Just going in or something.
How long does it take to like?
Oh, the party, it takes all day.
To finish.
But I can make like 20 pounds in, an hour or so.
Yeah.
usually.
Where do
by
you get your
myself.
meats
I was just
from?
going to ask you,
Oh,
do
I
you,
got a
do
meat
you
guy.
kill your...
Yeah.
So then it turns out like there's a sausage factory right next to Incredible Technologies office.
Yeah.
Like a
Get
legit
your
like,
label in there.
it's like Wonka's, Willy Wonka. in there,
Sausage
the
factory.
That's
And,
where all the fish went.
So that's the difference of making slot machines
Yeah.
here in Vegas and making them in Chicago. Like I go next door and it's a sausage Austrian sausage shop.
So cool.
So he's my we're buddies.
You might get a lot of sausage orders.
I don't know.
hope you
You
do.
know
I don't
what
know.
I advise people, because I'm just a guy doing this. If you're gonna order it here in Vegas, like group up with people and
Is
get
there
it
a
all
website
Get it
or?
in bulk. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
Schrementi.com. You just
Okay, sorry.
it's okay.
I'm
End of the
still
month.
like wanting to try some sausage here with
It's
this.
ready to
So you
eat
can tell
peppers
we're not a public company at Incredible Technologies. I'm
Yeah.
allowed to come in here and like
and hawk sausages.
But
Hey, it's a noble thing. You're supporting charitable
when you guys
causes.
invited me to the podcast, that's what I thought was funny, because you're like, oh, here's the sausage guy.
Well, my favorite part is all the group texts with all the sausage gifts we can find, where it's like, who knows?
It is
the
great,
most
though.
awkward
It's like-
sausage thing.
And I always say, as silly as it is, I have this party, but it's like the people who would otherwise be at your funeral or your
Yeah.
wedding. But then now they're all in my garage making my
Little
crappy
less-
garage with like ladders and bikes and
Yeah,
making sausages. I mean, what a happy world.
How great is that?
I love this.
So,
Here we are.
you gambler much?
I am. Yeah. Well, I'm a slot player. I mean, I'm not a big table guy.
Okay, you don't have to be.
You
Never
moved on
really
from
was.
goldfish, penny goldfish.
Yeah,
I loved, so when you talk about that era,
Yeah.
the games that made me fall in love with slot machines, the ones that proved to me that they're more than bars and bells were Goldfish.
I can't wait for this answer.
Dean Martin Wild Party was my
Yeah.
favorite
Yep.
game of all
no
time.
way.
Lucky Meerkats.
That's like
all
jackpot party. That's
Jackpot
like
all
Oh,
that
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah, I
Because
got
you go, it's like
So far, he's very
30 cent.
Chicago based. There's a lot of WMS
Yeah,
games.
yeah,
It
yeah.
was
It's
all
like hometown
WMS,
guy.
but it was
Yeah.
the first time I saw in a game like bright graphics, fun sounds, anticipation. I went like, these
Yeah.
don't have to be boring.
Yeah.
Like they can be fun. And now that trend kind of came and went. And then over time, you start following like, our favorite. I love playing, we call it Dirty Buffalo, like the
Yeah.
oldest Buffalo
Oh,
you can
yeah.
find,
Yeah.
especially not in Nevada.
Yeah, right.
You play the old Dirty Buffalo. Those are the games that help get me, into this. But I love slots. I'm going to go out tonight and play slots.
Do you have a fun
I
gambling
was gonna
story
say, did you
outside?
ever win a big prize or have,
You know
have
what
a
the
nutty time?
Kill a dirty
best
buffalo
one I
or-
have is what brought me to the industry. I mean, they sent me to Tunica in 2004 to go put a
And you're still
Golden Tee
friends with these
tournament.
people?
Come on, lucky ducky.
They were going to have me put a Golden Tee tournament on at the Grand Casino in Tunica. I was there by myself, and they gave me a free steak dinner because I was like shopping for the
It's your
banquet
Duffer
hall.
Dan, baby. You
Duffer
gotta get
Dan
you
is
some
here,
food,
but
yeah.
I was broke, and I go like, I had like $40 to gamble with, and I called my girlfriend, my wife at the now, but girlfriend,
My
back
life
then.
in the time.
And I go, like, I'm going to gamble a little bit. I've never really played. And I played Wheel of Fortune. It was the first time I've ever played it in my
Yeah.
life. And I hit the jackpot and the 1,000 in the same session.
Wow.
And I believe it was some kind of like cosmic thing
Yeah,
to like get me
okay.
to go, whoa, slot machines are easy.
This
I
is
like
cool.
these.
Yeah.
But when I look back at that, I mean, all these years later, that never happened again. And I play a lot.
Yeah, right.
So like that one night when I won was
Yeah.
the one night where, in fact, in the money, like it was like a really exciting
Yeah,
rush.
because for you, you're like,
Yeah, it was like,
$1,000
yeah.
change your whole
It's a
program.
huge-
Hey, honey, we got
$40
cash now.
It was totally like that. And then
Get
it
the extra
was,
sausage meat, baby.
and like, and I
Find a
remember
pack.
these little old ladies next to me. Like I learned a lot in
Yeah.
that one session.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, I feel like that's what brought me to to do this. And then, since then, all I've done is lose. So most of my stories are,
Well, we appreciate you coming on the
Yeah, man,
podcast.
absolutely.
We're excited to try the sausages.
I need to know the feedback.
I'll give it to you.
you
I'll be
kidding
grilling
me?
these this
Oh, yeah.
weekend.
And
You
enjoy
kidding
the
me?
jar-
We'll make a little video
Yeah.
on the old
Send the
LinkedIn.
sausage.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
It's fun.
But the other the question we ask,
Yeah.
and you get to call out someone, and we'll try to get them on the podcast.
Yeah, who should we
and-
talk to in the future?
It's a good question. Have you guys had Kent Young on?
No.
From
I don't
Spin.
know if he's
I feel
been
like he's been
introduced.
called out.
He might have been called out. If
Yeah.
not, he's definitely been offline called out.
Yeah.
So one thing I'll say, great call out, and we will accept it. And then, he said in the text, he goes, "I'm in," but like he was not based here, so it's a matter
Yeah.
of his schedule.
He's a big fan of
Yeah.
Sausage Fest. One of my
Immediately love the guy.
VIP customers. No, but Kent, one of the guys I'd consider a mentor in the industry. Just
Yeah.
sharp dude, good
That's
dude,
awesome.
good chat too. He's been through the ringer. And then, of course, my boss and mentor, Elaine Hodgson, who's a tough get.
I was going to say, she's a little more reserved, but she's one of the rocket scientists that started this whole program.
I work for two, really, I like to say. Yeah, Richard Ditton, also a rocket scientist.
Well, if she's willing to dumb it down for an hour, we can hang out and have her over. That'd be great.
But they were the ones who built the culture, and it's special and never been recreated again. And
she's
it's
a
an
cool
honor.
lady.
I get to protect it and just, trying to keep the ship and to train on the tracks.
Yeah.
So I don't know if she wants to call her out on this, but she has her own plane.
Yeah.
And she flies that plane. Right?
She's the pilot of the plane?
She's the pilot of the plane.
I don't know why I should be so surprised.
She's a jet, single engine jet, first female pilot for this single engine
jet. Yeah, that's pretty rad.
And and she's an avid skier, just skied for 6 weeks and probably can whoop anybody's,
Yeah.
How cool is that?
Double
She's like,
black
yeah,
diamond,
come
no
on my
big deal.
jet. By the way, I'm the pilot. Buckle up. Here we
Can
go.
you land it? I'm jumping out on skis here. Just going to go
She's
down.
a big inspiration in my life and a big, and a great businesswoman and just, somebody, it's been an honor, honestly, the whole thing.
That's awesome.
So that's to say, I've learned a lot. My perspective on the industry is through the lens of this company. So it's
I don't know how many sausages we have to eat to wrangle her in here, but we're in if you can help us out. I know that's it. Well, it was amazing. She came and spoke or paneled at AGS's conference. And everyone's like, she's coming to this?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah. And part of it was like, but it's your competitor. It's like, yeah, not really. And they go, but we never do this. She doesn't do that. And so it's like, yeah, I get
that was
it.
big.
That's what she got put Dan.
See, now Kent is an easy get. You just give him sausages.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll save one. Be like, all right, we'll eat them for you.
Awesome. Well, thanks
appreciate you, man.
again.
Yeah,
thanks, guys. Yeah, this is fun.
Rock and roll, baby.
Wish you the best.
Thanks, man. You too.